30,000 people once lived in one of the most hostile places on Earth. Modern engineers need computer modeling to figure out what the Nabataeans built with hand tools 2,000 years ago. We still can't fully replicate their water systems. What did we lose? Picture the geography that shouldn't support anyone. Petra sits in a valley surrounded by rugged mountains like Jebel al-Dir. The terrain is unforgiving sandstone and limestone. Rain comes in violent seasonal bursts, then nothing for months. Most of that precious water races through stream beds like Wadi Siyag and disappears into the desert. This is the kind of place where a few hundred nomads might camp temporarily, not where you'd build a thriving metropolis. Yet somehow the Nabataeans looked at this impossible landscape and saw abundance. They didn't just survive here, like they created one of the ancient world's most prosperous trading hubs. How do you engineer prosperity in a place that wants to kill you? The Nabataeans built a three-part system that captured every single drop. First, they constructed catchment dams across the mountain valleys. When the seasonal rains hit, instead of losing that water to runoff, the dams funneled it into their network. Second, they carved channels that followed the natural contours of the rock, guiding water exactly where they needed it. Third, they created a distribution network that served three critical functions: domestic water for the growing population, irrigation for their agricultural terraces, and reliable supply for the trade caravans that made them wealthy. But capturing water was only the beginning. The real genius was in storage and pressure management. Hidden throughout Petra are hundreds of underground cisterns. Not just a few large reservoirs, hundreds of carefully positioned storage chambers carved directly into the bedrock. Each cistern was strategically placed to serve specific neighborhoods and functions. The Nabataeans lined them with a special hydraulic plaster that sealed the porous sandstone perfectly. This wasn't random placement. They calculated elevation, distance, and capacity to create redundancy. If one cistern failed or ran dry, others could compensate. The entire city became a massive water battery, storing the brief seasonal abundance to last through months of drought. Here's where it gets almost impossible to believe. The Nabataeans engineered pipeline systems with pressure calculations that required no computers, no advanced mathematics as we know it. They designed gradual drops throughout the pipeline network that maintained perfect water pressure. Too steep, and the pipes would burst from excessive pressure. Too shallow, and the water would stagnate. They matched the spring supply rate to pipeline capacity with precision that minimized leakage and ensured stable flow. Modern hydraulic engineers use computational fluid dynamics to solve these problems. The Nabataeans solved them through observation, trial, and an understanding of physics that we're still trying to decode. They achieved what we now call pressure-perfect engineering using nothing but experience and intuition. Other ancient civilizations had impressive water systems. Mohenjo-daro supported 35,000 people with sophisticated drainage and bathing areas in every house. Built in 2600 BC, they flourished for around 700 years. But Mohenjo-daro had the Indus River. The Nabataeans had seasonal storms and hostile desert. Different challenge entirely. The Nabataean water system operated between 100 BC and 300 AD. 4 centuries of continuous operation in one of Earth's most challenging environments. The American Society of Civil Engineers designated it a historic landmark for water supply and control engineering. Yet today, much of their total distribution network remains unexcavated. We're still discovering how they did it. When modern researchers try to map their complete system, they have to use grid approximations and computer modeling to understand pipeline connections that the Nabataeans built by hand. Think about that. We have satellites, ground-penetrating radar, and supercomputers. They had copper tools and human ingenuity, yet we're the ones struggling to figure out their engineering. What knowledge disappeared when their civilization faded? What principles of desert hydraulics did they understand that we've forgotten? Advanced doesn't require electricity. It requires solving impossible problems with whatever you have. The Nabataeans proved that 2,000 years ago. So what do you think? Are we actually more advanced than ancient engineers or just different? Drop your theory in the comments.